this is something that I want you to stop doing, like ASAP. ASAP, ASAP, ASAP. Not tomorrow, not later on today, this moment in your life. Like, I want you to stop doing this because this is hurting your life so much. It's hurting your soul so much. It's keeping you in a place that you don't need to be in anymore. It's hindering your progression. It's literally paralyzing your soul. It's making you think that you're not enough. It's making you walk like you're not enough. It's making you live like you're not enough. And I understand, man, when you're breaking through certain things, it's very hard because a lot of us, we programmed ourselves to believe in these negative things for so long. So when you make these choices, it doesn't feel right. When you make these changes, it doesn't feel right. You feel like, oh, nothing is happening in my life because your brain, your life wants to go back to what's familiar. And so I want you to stop doing this ASAP. And what I want you to stop doing is I want you to stop cutting off your light. I'm not talking about your house lights. I'm not talking about your car lights. I'm talking about the light of you, who you are. And so many of us, we dim it, or we don't even shine it, or we cut it off because it is making other people uncomfortable. A lot of us don't walk into the greatest version of ourselves because we make other people uncomfortable. And you would rather stay in your own war inside your soul and keep the peace with everybody else than actually have peace within yourself and say, forget, I don't care how everybody feels about me or around me. I can no longer live my life like this. A lot of us, we're choosing to settle. We're choosing to suffer because we're so worried about those things around us that get uncomfortable when we become our best version of ourselves. We're so afraid to elevate our lives because we don't want people to talk about us. We don't want people to judge us. We don't want people to spread rumors and gossip about us and say that we change and all these things. And I just wanted you to ask yourself this question. How is that helping your life? A lot of you are choosing to stay in a place of hurt, of pain, of suffering for everybody else. For everybody else. It is not, and I want y'all to hear me when I say this. If you take nothing else from today, it is not your duty. Please understand this. It is not your duty. It is not your duty or your concern how other people receive your light. It is not your business how other people receive your light, but it is your responsibility to shine it. I'm going to say that again. It is not your duty how other people receive your light. It is not your concern how other people receive your light, but it is your responsibility to shine it. Okay? It is not your responsibility how other people receive your change. Everybody's not going to receive your change. Everybody's not going to agree with your change. There's 7 billion people in this world. You think everybody's going to like you? Everybody's going to support your change? Like, you got to break that mindset. Everybody ain't going to like you. That wasn't possible for Jesus. Everybody liked Jesus. So why are you thinking that everybody's supposed to like you? Everybody's supposed to agree with you? So I'm going to tell you right now, when you start to shine your light, you make other people uncomfortable. But you better tell those people, hey, put your shades on. Turn your head, because I ain't stopping shining. I ain't dimming my light and hindering my soul. I ain't dimming my light and killing myself for you. I've done that for way too long. And some of you have done that for way too long. And you continue to live in the darkness because you're waiting on other people to like your light, to give you permission to shine your light or to give you light. No, you become the light. You shine your light in your life. You shine the light. And if other people don't get it, they just don't get it. If other people don't understand it, they just don't understand it. And I know they try to make you feel guilty for becoming better. They try to make you feel guilty for progressing. They try to make you feel guilty for changing. They try to make you feel guilty for you no longer accepting things in your life. I get it. But at some point, you got to say, listen, if I keep depending on people to control what I do in my life, then I'm going to live a life that wasn't meant for me to live. I'm going to stay in a place that isn't meant for me to stay in. And I'm going to live my life, the whole rest of my life, in regret. Life is not to be lived like that. Life is meant to be experienced as your higher self. Life is meant to be experienced in your power, in your peace, in your purpose. But some of us are directly moving away from that because we're so afraid of what people going to think. We're so afraid to leave people behind. We're so afraid to make people uncomfortable because they talking about us. People talking about you regardless. People saying that you're too much, that you're not enough. People saying that you changed or you saying you didn't change. People always got something to say about you. When you going to get to a point, forget what they say and go shine your light. It is not your duty on how they receive you. It is not your duty on how they accept you. It is not your duty and responsibility on how they receive you, but it is your responsibility on how you live your life, on how you shine your light and who you are. You got to start giving things to yourself, to to yourself. When are you going to start thinking like that and living like that? And I get it, man. When you're doing something different, I talk about this all the time. When you're moving to the unfamiliar, because some of you are so familiar with living in pain. Some of you, I was this person. You're so familiar with doing the bare minimum. You're so familiar with pleasing everybody else. You're so familiar with keeping everybody else comfortable that when you move into the unfamiliar that's better for your life, when you move into the unfamiliar that's peaceful for your life, when you move into the unfamiliar that's powerful for your life, you want to revert back to your old ways. You want to revert back to your old habits. You want to revert back to your old mindset, because even though that didn't serve you, it made you feel comfortable. It made everybody around you feel comfortable. You didn't have any conflict really, because nobody was bothered by you. Nobody was threatened by you. But as you start to move into what's familiar, as you start to walk into your power, as you start to walk with power, as you start to live in power, and you start to walk with your shoulders up high, you start to walk into the room and say, people say you change. Ain't nothing different about your appearance, but people say you change. It's something about you. It's something different about you. And it starts to make other people feel uncomfortable, because as you reflect your greatness, you're also reflecting back to them what they're not doing. As you reflect your change, as you project your change, you reflect in them, they're settling. As you project the greatest version of you as you're moving into, you project and you reflect on them what they're not doing with their life. So my message to you this morning is get to a place now that you say, listen, I am no longer doing this. I'm no longer living like this. I'm going to walk in my power. I'm going to walk in my peace. I'm going to walk in my purpose, because that's when a human being truly feels alive. And a lot of you, when I say those words, you don't believe it, because you've been around that BS for majority of your life. A lot of you, when I say these words, you don't even think it's possible, because you lived in your pain so much that your mind can't even comprehend. Let me tell you something about faith real quick. It's not about understanding this message. It's not about getting this message and playing things out and say, oh, Trent, okay, I understand it. It's not about understanding this message. It's about feeling this message. And I know a lot of you watching me right now, you feel this, but your mind is going back to logic. Your mind is going back to logic. Trent, how can I live in power when I've been around powerless things my whole life? How can I live in power when nobody likes me? How can I live in power when I feel like I'm in my hardest times? That's when power is shown, y'all. How can I live in peace when there's so much chaos around my life? How can I do this? And your mind goes back to that prison perspective. Peace don't mean everything is good in your life. Peace means that you great regardless of what's good in your life. Peace don't mean that you got everything figured out. Peace is knowing that things are going to work out regardless. That's peace. Trent, how can I live in purpose when I don't have any purpose? Nobody likes me. Nobody does. Purpose. It's not about what people like about you. Purpose is not about what people think about you. Purpose is about living as who you were created to live, in your truth, in your true being. And that true being is going to be flaws. That true being is going to be mistakes at times. That true being is going to be experiencing failure at times, but you're walking in your truth. That's your true power. And that's where your freedom rests. A lot of us, we feel locked up in our soul. We feel so restricted in our life because we are not walking in our truth. We're walking in the idea of what people want us to be. We're trying to please damn perceptions of us. Oh, this is how somebody perceives me? Okay, let me be that. You go to your job, oh, this is what they perceive of me? Okay, let me be this person. I can't show them that I'm having a bad day. I can't show them that I'm going through things. Oh, I got to be perfect all the time because that's what they perceive of me. When you going to throw that ideal away, because that is going to lead you to a prison in your soul, a prison in your life that's going to hinder you from actually being who you are. You're going to hate your life. Life is going to be miserable. You got to break free from those things, and you have to live in your truth. Because when you live in your power, when you live in your peace, when you live in your purpose, it don't matter what's going on in your life. That's when you truly feel alive. People ask, Trent, how are you so like powerful even as you have a broken leg? How are you so powerful even when last year you lost so many things in your life? How are you still going on? Like, you must have some superpower. I don't have no superpower. The power that I have is faith, y'all. Faith for me is this. You can write this down. You can quote this. You can share this. And if I'm you, I'm listening to these words right now with my undivided full attention. And I'm going to slow down for a minute. And I want you to tap into me. Listen to me. Look me in the eyes right now. I want you to listen. If you don't hear anything else, I want you to hear these words. Faith doesn't work off of logic. Okay? God doesn't work off of logic. God doesn't work off of realistic. I know sometimes we think, oh, this is toxic positivity. Toxic positivity is trying to change something or trying to do something about something you're not trying to face. Toxic positivity is just like hope, right? Hope. And the word hope can be powerful too, but some of us are hopeless, but we're still hoping in something. But in the hope in something, we're not trying to change anything, right? We're wishing without working. To me, that's toxic positivity. But it's not toxic positivity to have faith, to move towards something in your life that is not logical, that is not realistic. And a lot of us, we feel like it's not realistic because we never experienced it in our life. Or it's not realistic for me, Trent, to have peace because I've been in pain my whole life. Trent, it's not realistic to me to have power because I've been in struggle my whole life. It's not realistic for me to be an incredible person because people have told me my whole life, even my mom and my daddy, they told me that I would never be nothing in life. Even my ex told me I would never be nothing in life. Even my friends told me I would be nothing in life. So it's not realistic. Faith don't work off of realistic, y'all. Please understand that. Faith works off of knowing, even in the unknowing. Faith works off of trusting, even when there's no understanding of it. I live my life off of faith. I don't need, oh man. I get fired up about this, y'all. I get fired up, man, because somebody on this live right now, man, somebody watching me right now is going to get it. And it's going to change their freaking life, man. I don't need proof. I don't need external proof when I already have the promise, y'all. I got the promise of God. I don't need the proof of people. I don't need the proof of circumstances. I don't need it. What you guys have experienced the last decade of my life has been through the promise, not the proof. I don't need the validation of man. I don't need somebody to say, Trent, you're of approval. I don't need that. I don't need the stamp of approval when I already been stamped with approval. I just need the faith and knowing that if I continue to go down this unfamiliar path, that eventually this unfamiliar path will become familiar. That's what I need. And some of you are already counting yourself out as you hear my voice. You're already thinking about all the reasons why it is not true, why you can't be it. You have counted yourself out for so freaking long that when you hear something that your soul is saying, this is it, you tell yourself, this isn't it because I can't see no damn proof. You don't need the proof when you operate in faith. You don't need the proof when you operate in promise. You don't need the proof. What God is already giving you in your soul is enough. That's why you have a feeling right now as you hear my voice that says, man, something about this feels right. But then you think about all the reasons why it's wrong. Now, this can't be for me, Trent, because I'm nobody special. Now, this can't be for me, Trent, because nobody likes me. Oh, this can't be for me, Trent, because I'm not making no impact in this world. This can't be for me. And you go against what your soul is telling you it's for you. Because you're looking out for approval, you're looking out for proof. Right now, some of you are thinking about, how can this be for me? What in the world shows me that this is for me? And you're ignoring that feeling inside your soul that's already told you it's it. This is it. Stop counting yourself out when God has already counted you in. Stop counting yourself out. Because people's circumstances counting yourself out. I understand, man. Life can be hard. I understand that your circumstances are not favorable. I understand when the odds against you, but God don't work off the odds. God don't work off the odds because last time I checked, when you work with God, when you work in your truth, the odds are beatable even when the odds ain't favorable. When the odds are stacked against you, it don't matter what's stacked against you when you got something inside you that's stronger than what's stacked against you. The stones they throw at you are nothing but stepping stones. The stones life throw at you ain't nothing but stepping stones. The circumstances life throws at you ain't nothing but stepping stones. And when you truly understand that and embrace that, can't nothing stop you. Can't nothing stop you. Nothing. The hate, the hurt, can't nothing stop you. So I need you to live in your power, man. To live in your peace. To live in your purpose. Because that's when we activate our highest self. That's when we activate the greatest version of us in this moment, when we decide to live in that today. So that's all I ask. Just live in your peace today. The peace of knowing that everything is working out for you, regardless of what life is showing you. Just live in your purpose today to know that Whatever's coming against you can't control you because it didn't create you. And just live in your power today. And you tell yourself, every step I take, every move I make, I am standing, I am walking, I am operating in my power. I had a question. I'm going to get off of here after this. Somebody asked me yesterday. They said, Trent, or somebody told me yesterday, said, Trent, man, it just seems like something is flowing through you. It's like when you speak, it's like it's not an idea, it's not thought, it's just being. And I said, you're right. I said, I agree. I'm not trying to become anything, I'm just being. Some of us, we're trying to become what the world wants us to be, trying to become when you've already became. It's about being. And when you live in being and you just be, you become a vessel. And that vessel creates a flow where you operate without thought. You operate without logic. And you just be. When you guys experience me on this live and these videos, I'm just being. And I'm just honoring what's true to me. Because I know when I can just be, when I connect to my higher self, when I connect to the highest, when I connect with the power of God, when I connect with my heart, the place where I feel like God flows through us, you lose all restraints, and your creativity, your gifts, your talents break out of that prison that's been captivating, holding captive your greatest self. And I know to some of y'all, that might sound foreign as hell. But I can tell you, when you operate in centeredness, I can tell you when you operate in love, I can tell you when you operate in your truth, there's nothing greater, man. There's nothing greater. That's a peace that surpasses all circumstances. Like I said in every single message, it all starts with you. Share this if you feel this. But I want you to embrace this. You deserve so much more, and you were made for more. Please understand that's more than words, and that's so true. It's rehab time. Let's get it.